Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, today's topic, we want to know how sexy are your numbers? And if they're not sexy, go to talkwithbecky.com. We'll help you get them sexy.
Let's make them sexy.
All right, so
it's that time of, it's the end of a month. For some people, they should be looking at their numbers. Periodically, everybody should be checking their numbers monthly, quarterly, actually a lot more frequent than that. I would think even daily. But we also always want to set a specific time that we're checking our numbers, looking at our profit and loss, our balance sheet, our cash flow statement to determine how we're doing in the business.
Yeah, I mean, today is not the end, not only the end of a month, but it is also the end of a quarter. So, we look at things differently when we're looking at financial statements from our perspective, perhaps, than the business owner. But some of the things that we do advise on with our consulting clients, we have specific topic points. Like we have specific points that we're looking at on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a weekly basis, as Eric has suggested, or daily. So we just wanted to share those with you to perhaps help you look at your financials different. And when I say the numbers are sexy, they are sexy. So don't even try to tell me that they're not, because you cannot run your company without those numbers, which make them the most important part of the business. I am a CPA, and I'll die saying that the numbers are the dashboard and the sexy part of your business.
Well, you can't hide from the numbers.
No,
what a lot of people
can't.
do is they sway away from it. Oh, I want to do sales, or I want to do manufacturing, or I want to manage the team. But everybody, for some reason, I understand it, they don't want to deal with the numbers, and that's the most important part.
It's truth serum. You cannot hide.
Yeah.
The numbers do not lie. And that is the best part. Oh, okay. Let's look at your numbers, and everybody's like,
wait, my system's not even right. You can't go by the numbers on my profit and
oh,
loss,
yeah,
because
that's beautiful.
it doesn't really make sense to.
It's not reflective.
Yeah, it's not reflective of how I'm doing in the business. Yes, it is.
How about the one we looked at yesterday? So we had that client that sent us, or that we looked at their QuickBooks file yesterday, and I literally was cussing like all kinds of things and because I've already gone through the system and set the system up. But what they decided to do is that they just
make accounts.
And there's there were literally 4 different repairs and maintenance accounts. There were 3 different office supply accounts, and I'm like, why? So I get all crazy. Julie, I came running upstairs. She's like, is she on the phone telling people off? No.
She would like to be.
Frustrated. Because no wonder why everything seems askew, right? So we made it all pretty. We made all the numbers sexy again, and able to deliver the results of that. But the reason why your numbers are sexy is because they do tell the story. And whether it's a positive or negative, they're telling the story so you can react. So today, Eric picked 3 points that he thinks are most important that we're going to chit chat about quickly, because it's Monday and I know that you guys are setting up the week. We're setting the week up. But we wanted you to set your week up in a strong financial sense, so you know what you're going to be looking at when your reports get generated. If you cannot generate your reports, which reminds me that if you're not able to generate reports just like this and have financial information at your fingertips, your accounting system is not working for you. Go to talkwithbecky.com. Let us help you set it up correctly, because it really does make a difference in your world. All right, Gad, you start. What's your first point?
All right, well, I think that most people always look at this one point, and it's okay, what are we making for goals? I mean, the goals, the target for revenue is
always
much the main area.
It's always number one. Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea here is whatever goals or targets that you put in place, you need to make sure that you hit them. If you didn't hit them, why? And if you exceeded them, also why? And that's a good thing, of course. But yeah, I think the target, the goal, the gross revenue, and what it really took to get that revenue where
Well, it's a good
it
thing
was,
if the
where it
revenue
is.
exceeded your goal, only if the expenses did not exceed
Well, there's other factors.
the goal. But yes, I agree with you in general, speaking in general terms.
Well,
Yep.
that's what everybody does. Everybody says, well, how am I
Absolutely.
doing? How much money am I making? How much am I bringing in? They don't really
Correct.
understand that. It's not necessarily what you're bringing in, it's what you're keeping. It's what you're taking home. So, or what you're putting in the bank and building that balance sheet or that bank account. So, it's not what you're making, it's what you're keeping. But at the same time, it's still a great factor to understand, okay, well, I'm making more revenue, which solves problems related to cash flow and exorbitant expenses. So make more money at any point in time that you can, but let's make sure that we're hitting those targets, and if not, we need to know why.
Okay. You good?
I'm good with that.
All right, number two.
Number two.
What does your cash flow look like? All right, because a lot of times what I hear is like, Becky, you're telling me I made more money, and I can see that I made more money on the books. It says that I'm profitable. It says that I have my increase in gross revenue, but I don't have cash in the bank. So what's going on? Or is your cash flow finally freeing up and it's coming in, and you have that ability to pay the bills? You see more revenue, you see more cash flow in. Okay? So if you're not seeing additional cash flow, several factors could be involved with that. I mean, there could be an increase in receivables or a decrease in payables, or, so we're taking a look at your cash flow, because let's face it, when the cash flow trickles, you're working with a noose around your neck. And when you work with a noose around your neck, you are not productive, you are not efficient, you are not effective, because your brain is constantly like, where's my cash flow? Am I making money? Am I billing? And what's happening with that? So what we're looking at is exactly that. What is the cash flow? Are we positive? Are we negative? Why are we negative? And what did we do with what do we do if we are negative? How do we reroute it so that our cash flow turns into a positive scenario? And sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's just, number one, it's timing or time of the year, because businesses have cycles. However, normally what happens is you plan for that downtime in cycle. You plan your cash flow. But on the end of a period, we're looking at the cash flow and trying to determine where it's falling.
And a little more related to that is that if you have a good set of books and you're looking at the prior period, you can really understand as to how your company trends, so that you could plan for cash flow, you can plan for covering expenses, so you don't run into this particular issue. And most people run into this issue.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very, very common.
Very
It's very common, especially if you're in the first 3 years of business and you're trying to figure that out. It's super common.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
I would
You're
think
number 3.
expenses. So another good thing about looking at your numbers is, by looking at your profit and loss, you can obviously look through all your expense items and where you're spending the money. But what's good about that is you could, at that point, use it for budgeting purposes. Where am I spending too much money? Where do I need to spend more money to make more money, such as in marketing? Look at percentages according to gross sales. Where am I spending too much money? In other words, is payroll more than 25%? Is my cost of goods between 25 and 35%, or it exceeds that amount? So by looking at the expenses, looking at the percentage according to gross revenue, looking at historical periods, this gives you a good idea as to how you need to manage cash flow, but more importantly, budget. You need to make sure that you're not spending more money than you're making. And one more point is that even a small percentage difference in one area or another, such as whether it's payroll or whether it's cost of goods, makes a huge difference on the bottom line. So that's another reason why you want to make sure that you keep your expenses in check and that you have a good understanding of those, is that you can tweak in whatever efficiencies you're building in with systems, which is what we talk about. A couple of points times gross revenue, I mean, there's your profit, there's your family vacations, and there's your 401k and all those other things that you want to utilize when you set your goals.
Yeah, your
personal
spendable
goals.
income. It's your spendable income.
Yeah.
And with regard to expenses, though, too, is like, if your payroll, like for instance, we're also looking at this. So if your payroll is above a specific percentage, it varies on industry. Some industries, the acceptable norm is 30%, whatever. But if it is exceeding that number, we take a look at why, because sometimes circumstances prevail. And sometimes you have to have a specific amount of payroll, even if it's like an event or, you know, during tax season. I mean, we had predominantly salaried employees on annually, but we used to hire seasonal employees. So we knew that our payroll was going to increase relative to our revenue. However, towards the end of the season, when we were really pumping and grinding, the payroll was up. So even cost of goods, depending on the time of year and where you live, produce goes up, right? Or, you know, whatever, supplies go up. So we definitely take that into consideration, as should you, with regard to those expenses. And just to determine whether or not they're warranted. A lot of times what happens is things sneak up on you. And you don't even realize you're paying for things that you're paying for. I mean, you know, like the iTunes account that just keeps getting hit. Or maybe it's some auto thing on monthly that you're not even utilizing anymore. So we also review those kinds of things, and so should you, to determine if they're worth it or not, if they're part of, they should be part of that business component within your expense line items.
Yeah, if it's generally not generating additional revenue or putting you in a position to generate more revenue,
right,
it's a needless expense.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a few tidbits.
Happy number crunching today.
Yeah, take a look at it. If you need any help, go to talkwithbecky.com.
Yeah, we're here. We're on the other end, and we'd be happy to help you. Setting up accounting systems is like, I know I'm a dork, but it's one of my favorite things to do because I know the end result is lucrative to the business owner on the other side.
It's clarity.
It's absolute clarity, and literally, like, people are afraid of numbers. We wrap our arms around them because they tell a story. Numbers tell the story of the business, good or bad, but they allow you to react and move forward. And that's what the name of the game is. I mean, you have to be ready. As a business owner, the bottom falls out on a daily basis. And if you know your numbers and you know the direction of the business and how we're heading there, hang on, and how we're going to get there, the numbers help. Because you adjust according to what is happening within the business. So,
because in the end, it's all about the bottom line.
Oh my God, you are so cliche. It's all about the numbers.
The money is what runs the business.
All right, we're gonna go put him back behind the desk where he came from. All right, you guys, have a fabulous day. If you have any questions, please post them below as you're watching this, whether you watch it live or not. And we welcome you to direct message those questions or
you can share the live, share the video with somebody you know who owns a business and could use a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Who's complaining all the time that, you know, they can't do it all and, you know, they
there's
need help
not
with the
enough.
numbers.
There's not enough time in the day. They can't clone themselves.
Yeah.
All right, have a fabulous day. Talk soon.